It's our first day back at Walt Disney World since the closing. Mike, how does it feel?
Unbelievable, amazing, incredible, fantastic.
Hey everyone, Dave K here with Mike. So excited to be back at Walt Disney World and enjoy the festivities here with you. Our first resort stay since being back. Mike, how does it feel?
Unbelievable. Actually, fantastically unbelievable.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on staying at the resorts right now, being out here, and how it compares to being out here outside of this period of time, right? When we're normally able to walk around without the masks on and enjoy the festivities that way.
Sure, yeah, no, I think that this is a very unique time. You know, it's not the usual Walt Disney World that we're used to, and there is something to be said for that, because you know you like the motion, the everything's open, walk in any store, go in any place. It's more of a free range, right? You don't have to think as much about what you're going to do, where you're going to go. Just go anywhere, have fun. With this, it's a little bit more unique. You know, less places are open, there are less people around. You just kind of have to think it through a little bit more. Which way are we going to go? What's open? I wonder. I'm not sure. It's unique. It is. But it's no less magical because it's a different type of magic. You see Disney in more of a raw state, in my opinion. You see Disney as a magical destination even without the parks.
Yep, and I'm right there with you. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities to enjoy kind of a different kind of magic. It's like magic in the raw or behind the scenes magic. Not to mention so many less crowds, right? If you look around us here, there's so few people, almost no one there on the boardwalk right now. So nice to be able to enjoy some quiet time to ourselves. Now, if we were here, not necessarily if we were coming down for a vacation, but as staying on staycation, how likely are you to want to visit the parks? Or are you able to see all the amenities that you'd like to see given the current climate?
It's a very good question. When I'm here, since, you know, when we do staycations, we did one on Polynesia not too long ago, celebrating a lot more even then. And, you know, it was a lot of fun. We didn't go to the parks, though. And I think that that's unique because when you live, you know, close to Disney, you go to the parks all the other times. You stay and enjoy the resort room amenities during the time of your staycation. So I think the same thing would apply here. Even if I was, you know, allowed to go into the parks, I probably wouldn't right now because I'd want to enjoy those resort amenities. So there's really something to that. In addition, I think that when it comes to the different resorts that you stay at, you know, you aren't really resort hopping as much. You know, we're just kind of staying in one spot so we can dive even deeper into that.
Awesome. I can totally see where you're coming from and totally agree in that we don't really need to visit the parks as we have that opportunity during the regular year. So it's just kind of a special time for us to take that preview at the resorts. And I also feel really fortunate that so many things at the resorts are open. It was very interesting when we came in here that it sounded like one wing of the boardwalk was closed, but still that pool on that wing was open. Mike, how do you feel about that?
Really good. You know, they're really trying to open as much as possible. You can see that, but they want to make sure safety's on top. You can look around and you see you cannot walk around and not see signs that say social distancing. Literally everywhere you go. So safety is number one. They got that on the priority list. But right after that is the guest comfort and happiness. You know, they want to make sure it's safe and it's fun. They're going to open as much as they can while it's safe.
What are some of the top things that you're hoping to see while we're staying at the resorts here?
A pool. Pool is a big one for me. You know, I love the resort pools. Haven't been in a pool in a long time. It's getting hot here in Florida, so that'll be great. And that's one of the amenities that you can only enjoy staying at the resort. So the pool's on top of my list, followed by kind of nighttime viewing, like walking around at night, taking some nighttime photos in those resorts. And I know that those kind of vary as well, but the thing about dawn photo, first thing in the morning, the same kind of thing there, unique to staying at the resort.
I'm so excited to visit the pools with you, but I'll tell you, since it's been so long, I'm so excited to get back into this food here.
Oh yeah.
Like, we had this pizza already, and you'll see that vlog, our first day here, where we're enjoying that pizza, but there's so much more food to look forward to. And maybe it's items we've tried or restaurants we've tried. We were just talking about the Dolphin back there, maybe a little bit later today, or venues we've never been to before. Maybe new menu items or the same old menu items. Either way, I'm so excited to get back some delicious food items. We don't have to worry about preparing ourselves, cooking ourselves, or eating something maybe a little bit more bland. That being said, the pools are most definitely exciting as well, and there's so many other resort amenities to enjoy. I'm not sure if the gyms are open and some of those other activities. We did take a look at one of the merchandise shops on the store here, and I was surprised to see they had the masks here as well, in addition to at Disney Springs. So you've got a lot of options if you're trying to shop around here as well. Now back to the conversation about being able to visit some of the other resorts and some of the other food at some of the other resorts. Mike, do you have any insights for us in terms of what's accessible for us, what's not accessible for us staying here at the boardwalk where else we're able to go, what else we're able to see.
Absolutely. I have to confirm this. So it's still like a tiny bit gray, but from what I understand, we can go to concierge here at Boardwalk. We can say, hey, I'd like to eat a Kona Cafe at the Polynesian. They can make the reservation for us, and we go. In terms of transportation, that's the more difficult part, because if you want to take Disney buses, my understanding is you'd have to go to Disney Springs to get to the Polynesian. We can always just take our own car, so that's an option as well. I prefer Disney transportation in staycation mode, but it's a unique one, so maybe our own car will be fine. But that's my understanding in terms of dining.
That makes sense, and really fortunate that we have that car option. I know the Disney transportation can be nice, but there are plenty of vacations I think we've rented a car in the past as well. Another thing I can really appreciate in terms of trying those venues, if we're not worrying about Disney transportation, is even just walking. If you're saying we're able to maybe book a Beaches and Cream, or book, one place I've wanted to try is not just the fountain for the ice cream shop, but also the fountain for that food. Yeah. It seems like the menu is very similar to Beaches and Cream, but that ice cream absolutely blew me away. So I gotta see how their burgers and how those other menu items, again, a lot like Beaches and Cream, stack up to Beaches and Cream. Now, of course, some places are closed here. We don't have the opportunity, at least right now, to enjoy venues like Ample Hills. Do you have any insights or thoughts in terms of when you think some of these spots might open up, and how do you feel about some of these places being closed?
It's a great question. Some of them are Disney owned and operated, others are third-party vendors. It's important to note the distinction there. Disney decides the one for Disney locations, and then they kind of, from my understanding, authorize the third parties to open up with certain guidelines in place. For example, if social distancing is not applicable, they can't social distance inside Ample Hills. Just as an example, not saying that's what's happening, but let's say they can't. They had some issue with social distancing. Maybe they have to keep it closed until a later date. In terms of Disney destinations, they're opening the ones that probably are the most popular and the safest at the same time. They're going to go for the ones like the shop. Instead of the shop inside the resort, which here at Boardwalk, that's not open. But the shop outside with very similar items is. So again, they're trying to get the best of both. Whatever they can, they're going to try and open.
I think that's a very smart point, and I hadn't even thought about it that way. You're right. Kind of only opening the stores that provide unique value, but also are most likely to be able to remain safe. Very smart. Now, I'd be willing to speculate, possibly guess, that places like the Beaches and Cream or the Ample Hills or any places that might be closed are likely to open up as soon as or even sooner than when the parks open up. Because I'm guessing if people are going out to the parks, it's probably safe enough for people to come in the rest of the restaurants, but I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on that?
I think similar rules apply here. You know, if they can, in a safe method, maybe think of it, they haven't announced this, by the way, phase 1 for like DVC areas, the areas they have now, phase 2, not really, but phase 2 for the parks and other restaurants and venues, and there will more than likely be a phase 3 and 4 for third-party areas, even like a photo shop, a photo kiosk, or Joe's Marvelous Margaritas. Maybe that'll be part of phase 4 instead of maybe the park opening. So it's impossible to know, but I think you're right in terms of more will be opening with the parks.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And I think you have a very good point in terms of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I think that we heard some predictions on that in the past in terms of 25% capacity, 50% capacity. But maybe this is kind of a demonstration of that. Maybe this is their phase 1, their 25%, but instead of saying, okay, we'll let 25% of people, we'll say first let's do DVC. And we'll call that 25% because it's safely under 25%. And we can also take those guests and those who are most interested in Disney and be able to bring them here with us in those DVC resorts. And if this is phase 1, I'm definitely liking how phase 1 is looking so far with so few people out here with us. But there are, of course, challenges, right? Not, again, being able to visit all these restaurants and indeed wearing these masks. But what are some of the biggest pros and some of the biggest cons you see during this time?
Pro, I say just being open, being here, just being able to kind of reconnect to a place that we all love so much. Bit of a con would be the fact that, you know, you're reminded of the real world a little bit as you walk around. That's my biggest con, where it's like, I would love to take this mask off, but I'm not going to, because first of all, I understand the importance. Second, it's a rule here at Disney. Got to make sure we follow this. That's the only negative. That's the biggest one that I can see. Everything else is kind of nothing. It's just that when the real world negative situation goes away, it's going to be like magic again. And it's still magical. I just love for this to be gone.
Totally. For me, I'd say one of the biggest pros is all this space and this availability. It's unlike anything that I'd ever normally see here at the Boardwalk. Again, how quiet it is. There are a few parties walking around here and there, but to be able to kind of take the space, stretch out here, pretend like it's your own private boardwalk is a huge advantage to me, and really glad we get the chance to experience that. I don't know how long it'll look like that for or kind of what the future might hold. but I feel like it's a unique way to enjoy those vacations. Again, a lot like an Alani or some of those other destinations. For me, I'd say probably one of the bigger cons, similar to what you're saying, reminded of the real world with the masks, is also those limited number of restaurants, those limited number of venues that we can't visit based on the current climate. But again, in the future, I'm sure we'll be able to get back out there, not have to worry about the masks or the distancing or the restaurants. We'll be able to enjoy it all. So that covers our initial thoughts here. So glad to be back. Definitely looking forward to all the fun ahead. Thank you so much for being a part of the fun with us here today. Looking forward to sharing more fun adventures with you real soon. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed of future adventures. This whole adventure, the whole vlog, is coming up soon, but wanted to give you a quick inside look here while we're enjoying our stay. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Looking forward to sharing more with you, and until next time, play on. Hey everyone, Dave K here with Mike 6. Right, and we're ably